Came out before to give you a bit of a grand tour of the Port Macquarie Marina and a little bit of Port Macquarie itself that I can walk to in my current condition, and it was a beautiful sunny day, although we had a big storm in the middle of the night. But look at that over there, there's all this rain and it's big storms still around, and it's a bit grey and yucky at the moment, and it's getting a bit cold. So I'll still take you on a bit of a walk, and I might go and have a cup of coffee. But anyway, this is the other part of the marina, and I came here 15 years ago, I think, or something, on one of my boats, and it was totally different. I don't remember any of this at all. It's all been completely renovated. I think there was a bit of a old marina over there where I'm pointing, and I think that's where I tied up on Bess. I don't think any of that was there where we are, but oh, there we are. I didn't give you a good look, but there's Cachalot there. And I've just been chatting. One of the reasons I was delayed on my little tour was I was chatting to a guy named Terry off of Beneteau down near the end, and oh, we had a great old chat. But anyway, there's little Cachalot. The sails are a bit untidy, but never mind. We're off tomorrow morning, and it's supposed to be a strong wind warning. But I'll go and show you where the bar is, and it's a bit of an interesting place to get into this marina. So that's the entrance bar right out there, directly where I'm pointing. You can probably just see the left-hand side, the northern side, and then there's the southern wall where all those pine trees are. And it can be a bit of a tricky entrance. It's very shallow, the entrance in here, and can get some rogue waves. And also I had a lot of trouble finding the leads, but I got in okay. But I came in at the perfect time, right on the top of the tide, just over the after the actual high tide, and there's a bit of an overrun here, so there was no problem at all. But as you come in, you then come down and around, and through a channel, which is a little dogleg thing, goes down around beyond where all those boats are, and it goes down right down to the right there, probably where that last boat is on the right. There's another marker there, and then you turn and come up. The only trouble is that what I didn't realise, and luckily it was during the day, I'd hate to come in here at night, but the channel actually is where all those boats are. You come up in between those boats, that's the channel. And if you can see the red mark there, that's the left lateral mark to keep on your port side as you come up. And so I went right out, unfortunately. I was out nearly to where the Pelicans are before I realised that I was heading towards dry land, and luckily it was high tide. I made a sharp turn to starboard and back out into the channel. And you must remember I'd been up all night, so I was a little bit tired, but that's still no excuse. But anyway, my excuse was that I'd never been here before. That's a lie, I had been here before, but I'd forgotten. And anyway, so I got into the main channel, came up through there, and as you come up, and then I just found where my berth was up near and luckily it's near the fuel wharf, so I was able to find it quite easily. And so yes, but that's the entrance. Got no idea what it's like at the moment, although I was talking to a guy refilling a big power boat. Oh, the lovely Pelicans, I love them. Yeah, he said to me that they just come in to get fuel, and we're only literally in here for half an hour, and filled up and away they went. But he said it was a bit lumpy coming in, but it was virtually dead low tide. But he said they didn't have any problem at all. He said it's just a bit of a pressure wave, so hopefully everything's okay and I can just power out and get out. But it is very, very shallow in the middle. It gets down to at low water about 2.5 metres, so that would be pretty scary, and you can understand why they get rogue waves through there. And I can see all these pelicans. Let's go for a walk and have a look at the lovely pelicans. So this is an irregular thing. They just saw you cutting up the fish and that's it.
Yeah. We'll Billy's way too slow for him.
The boys are getting a bit impatient. Yep.
On your right hand side.
This one here. Hey!
Run, mate, run.
That's what you get for being a patient fella. Where's it gone? Straight down. How did he get that down through his throat? Oh no, it's still in his gullet. It's still there. That's it, boys, I think. And girls. This is the restaurant area, and here's a little Turkish restaurant. There we are. Little Turkey, the home of gozlemi and kebabs. You can see I'm not a Turkish food expert, but last night I bought a kebab from this little restaurant and it was absolutely lovely. Burger joint across the road, Burger Urge, I beg your pardon, and Zambrero Mexican, and down the road a little bit is McDonald's, and right behind that is the shopping centre. That's the Sea Salt, the restaurant where I had breakfast this morning, which is now closed. I was looking forward to a coffee, but I might have to go across the road to McDonald's unless I can find somewhere else. This is the other side of the marina. And the big resort right next to it, which I'll walk up to in a moment. It's a resort and a restaurant there as well. Quite a touristy place, Port Macquarie. Looking like a bit of a local nerd, I think, with my navy hat on. But just walking along, and people must think I'm a bit strange seeing me walking along with the camera. Bit of a grey old day and still a lot of rain around. Just swing it back around. So another little shopping area here, and there's the main shopping centre directly ahead. Not that I think shopping centres will be that exciting for most people, but that's Settlement City. But it was very handy to the marina, and I was able to get some top-up groceries there today before the final parts of my trip. So there's the welcoming sign, and there's this resort. Looks very, very nice. It's called Sails Port Macquarie by Ridges, and the Boathouse Bar and Restaurant. A bit out of my league on this trip. And there's the Panthers Leagues Club over there. Panthers Port Macquarie. Don't know if you can see that. I'll sort of zoom in, and there's the sign, Panthers Port Macquarie. And McDonald's. Good old Macca's. Lucky I didn't go sailing today. Have a look at this. And have a look at the rain outside there. It's absolutely pouring at the moment. So I'll just stay here a while. Off tomorrow. Here we are leaving the marina at Port Macquarie and heading down the channel, which goes through the moored boats back there, which I didn't realise when I came in, and nearly ended up over there on the drive, but luckily it was high tide and I was able to see in time and corrected. So now I'm just going to head out across the bar. I've rung into the Coast Guard and they told me the bar is very good, so let's hope they're right and we can get out okay. I'll put the headsail up in a minute to give us a bit of extra power as we go out, as we're pushing against the remains of the high tide and a bit of overrun. Well, we're just coming out over the bar now. We've just come out of the entrance, the river, and this is the actual bar here, the shallowest part. And you can see there's a few waves here, but nothing much to worry about, nothing's breaking. We're down to about 8.7 metres, and we should be over the worst of it in a matter of a few minutes. Just powering out over it. I've got the headsail up to give us a little bit of a help, but there's not much wind out here at all. And we're heading up there, up towards Coffs Harbour as soon as we can get out. And there's lovely Port Macquarie. It was a nice stay. Really enjoyed myself yesterday. Met some people. Had a nice day yesterday. I think we're just about over the shallowest part now. We're at 7.98 metres, 8.2. It's going up. Another 50 metre and 7 metres according to the chart. So I'll just have a quick look at avionics. Probably is when I put it on my phone, it keeps locking itself, and I know you can adjust that. But so there we are on the little navionics, and as you can see by that, we're just about into the deeper water, and we're through the bar. So let's hope we're in for a lovely day. The wind's supposed to get up a lot later on, so could be an interesting day, but I'm just going to leave the headsail up for the moment and just see how we go. Okay, come back to you soon. We're out offshore now, out of Port Macquarie, and the breeze has definitely picked up out here, probably blowing about 15 to 20 maybe. There's Port Macquarie in the back in the distance. I've just got the headsail up, and so we're just going along 4.5, 5 knots, which is fine. The only problem is without the main we get a bit of a roll, so we're just going to have to put up with that. Definitely not going to put the main up. I'll leave it just on the headsail and just see how we go later, especially later when it's supposed to really get up, so hopefully we'll be okay. Anyway, we're on the hydrovane sailing along, and there's Port Macquarie in the distance. We're heading to Hat Head. It's our first sort of headland, and then on from there is the next one is Trial Bay, and I'm actually considering, if necessary, if things were really bad, that's about the time it's going to be really windy when we get to Trial Bay. We could go into Trial Bay, but the trouble is the forecast tomorrow is for sort of variable winds and then northerlies, which is no good, so we'd have to sit in Trial Bay for a while. So I'll have a look a bit later and just see if there's any opportunity to go in the next couple of days, just in case it gets a bit rock and roll out here, and I need a bit of shelter, so we'll see how we go. Coming up on Hat Head, just slowly sailing along, doing about 4.5, 5 knots, which is fine by me. It's a bit hard to tell with the winds, probably about 20, maybe 15 to 20, certainly pretty choppy. That up ahead is Smoky Cape, that's our next headland we go around. That's about 8 miles away, 9 miles away. But it's pretty pleasant out here. It is now. You can see us behind there, not huge seas, not huge swells yet. Hydrovane's just working away, and off in the distance, that's I'm not sure exactly what that place is. It was north of Port Macquarie, but there's Port Macquarie way in the distance. You can see the headland anyway. And yeah, it's just we're just pottering along, which is fine by me. It'll be a late arrival into Coffs, but I just want to wait and see what this wind's going to do. And there's somebody on the radio. But just ahead, before we had whales slapping their tails, breaching. I don't know if you heard that a little bit of on the radio there. Got no idea what that was all about. Sounded like Korean Navy. Yeah, well, we're a long way from Korea. Okay, back to where I was. Yeah, we're just sailing quietly along now, and we'll see what the wind does as it gets up a bit later. And if the wind drops off a bit, I'll definitely put up the main. But for the moment, we're doing. Anyway, here I am looking like the abominable snowman. Got every bit of clothes I can on. It was absolutely freezing this morning. It's not too bad now because I've got a lot of sun. But I think it's going to be a very, very cold night. Apparently it's going to be about 3 degrees tomorrow morning in Port Macquarie, and that'll probably be the same up at Coffs Harbour. I'll check and do a bit of an update shortly. I've got phone signal again, and I'll check the weather and just see what's happening. Coming up is Smoky Cape and Fish Rock, and we're probably a bit far away at the moment, but oops, I got my muffler on. Coming up is Smoky Cape. There's a lighthouse there, and then Fish Rock, which is just off our port bow. And you probably can't see it yet, but I'll get a shot as we get a lot closer. And it really does look like a fish. No wonder it's called Fish Rock. Yeah, we're a bit closer now, but it's losing its shape a little bit. But from a distance, it definitely looked like that's the Fish Rock I'm talking about. It definitely looked like a potato cod or a big grouper, something like that. Well, I'm using my imagination anyway. So we're about to pass Smoky Cape and Fish Rock, of course. And over in the distance on the left, around on the left, is where you go into Trial Bay. Where I've been there before, but not going there this time. We're going on to Coffs Harbour, and it'd be nice to go in and anchor, but I think I'll go to Coffs and get there tonight, and then work out what we're going to do from there. It just puts us a little bit closer. Okay. One? Oh no, there's a few of you. Come to join me. Heading off to Coffs Harbour. Always so lovely to see the dolphins. There's a lot of them. Saw whales earlier, but they were a long way away. Too far away to get on the camera, unlike the other day. They were right beside us. Whoa! Off he went. Probably wouldn't have been able to see that. Whoop! There's one, just came out. Love having a play. Oh, I missed it. There was one jumped right out. Up in front of the boat. Hey! Probably got that one. Yes. no time's over. Looks like it. Ah! No, it's not. Ooh. That's a bit of a rock and roll. It's pretty lumpy out here. Speed goes up and down. There's supposed to be no real current here. We had the current earlier, but there's definitely still current here. As you can see, it's a very grey old day today, but a lovely bit of sun coming through then. Through there, it's nearly, it's about 4:30, heading towards darkness, but it has been a freezing day today. Okay when the sun's out, but when I went to have lunch and it was overcast and it was absolutely freezing, as it was about 2 degrees Celsius this morning.